I don't know if we are sounding an alarm bell here. I think we're cognizant of the reality of the situation. And I think if you look at the analysis here, this is going to be a tough debate. Now, many debates are tough, but this is going to be tough. I think there's no point in hiding, taking away from that. So let's be realistic and let's be ready for that series of debates when they start to occur.
The Prime Minister has said no deal is better than a bad deal. Why do you disagree with that?
There's got to be a deal here. I mean, a no deal is clearly not to be thought of. It would take us down the route of WTO. I think that would have a pretty negative effect on our economy. A bad deal, I mean, one has to look at the definition of a deal. I think I'm prepared to accept that there may well be elements of a deal which are better than other elements of it, but to walk away with a no deal and just have some form of reliance on WTO without potentially some form of transition agreement during which a deal or better deal could be negotiated, I think would be a pretty negative scenario for our economy, our business, and quite frankly, our country.
So what would be so bad about falling back on WTO rules?
WTO rules are a baseline, and I think I recognise that. But it's a baseline, of course, linked to an average tariff of about what? 5.3, 5.4%. But you look within that broad regime, and of course there are big winners and losers in terms of sectors, and one could look at agriculture, one could look at food and drink, for example. The other big thing, of course, is you're relying then on what? Lack of equivalence, lack of rules of origin, and then you're into a massive set of I fear, administrative hurdles. And it is those administrative hurdles, non-tariff barriers, that I think we categorise them as, that I think would be a great, great downer for British industry.
The financial services sector has indicated it could survive with a transition period of 2 to 3 years. Why is a 5-year transition period so important for manufacturers?
I think you have to look at the process of negotiation. I think every one of us would like a transition period that is appropriate to the negotiation, the outcome of those negotiations. And if that were to be successful within 2 or 3 years, then I think so be it. But I think common sense, and when one looks at the complexity of this, I take the view, maybe it's intuitive, but this appears to me, or it feels to me, that about 5 years is about right here.
Now, separately, we've had the GDP latest revision for the final quarter of last year. The manufacturing sector looks in pretty fine fettle at the moment.
It does. The manufacturing sector has performed well, and interestingly, it has performed well particularly in the second half of the year and particularly in the final quarter. That said, one of the many measures that we and others look at is, of course, investment, and we are seeing a downside, a ticking down. I'm not going to call it a falling off, but we are seeing just an easing back in investment. And if that were to continue during the process of this year, then I would be concerned. And of course, it's that link to ongoing investment that, of course, that's the key to future innovation and prosperity.